Well, here we are. We are on our last lesson of lesson 43, Romance Roots, and this is number 7 there in Roman numerals. It's the 7th and the last set of roots that we're going to be looking at. This is also the longest and in many ways most complicated lesson. So we're going to go through this. I highly recommend, especially for this root, ject, that we're going to be looking at, which means to throw. I would highly recommend that you look these words up in a dictionary, look at thesaurus, and get a feel for them. Some of them have more than one meaning. And I'm just going to go through and we're going to highlight this and try and go at a rather rapid clip so you don't have to sit and watch this. Again, this is Donald Potter, and we're doing Beyond Basic Phonics English Morphology 101. So here we go. Here we have eject. When you eject something, you kick it out, you move it out. Like on a jet airplane, a fighter can have an ejection seat. And the past tense of, and again, eject means to throw. So, and then ejected, that's just a past tense verb. And then you have a noun, or here you have ejection. Ejection. And again, this can be used like in an ejection seat. Next we have object. And this can have, as a verb, it can be object, like I object, I don't agree. I have an ejection, okay, which we have right here, the noun form, objection. But also it can be an object, like this book right here is an object. So anything material can be an object. And then we have objective. That's like a goal that you have. You have an objective you're trying to reach. Here, our objective is to help you read bigger, more complicated words so you can raise your reading level and become a better and more sophisticated reader. Next, we have dejected, and that's when you feel sad, when somebody don't want to be around you. You feel like, oh, I feel so dejected, like you've just been tossed out. Then you have reject. And again, when you're manufacturing something, if something comes down the assembly line, it's got a problem, you reject it. You don't send it out. You don't sell it. And so when you reject something, then it's rejected, past tense. And the noun form is rejection. And again, it can be a feeling too, like you feel rejected, like nobody wants to be your friend. Then you have subjective, which, by the way, is the opposite of objective. Object is something that's real, and subjective is just something that you feel. It's your subjective feeling. It's next we have subjectivity, and again that relates to subjective, and objectivity. So these two here are related as opposites. Subjectivity, how you feel. Objectivity, that's just simply what it is. You can state it as a fact. Next, we have a word that can have two meanings. It can be project, like you have a project going on. Mr. Potter has a project here to publish and make these recordings for Beyond Basic Phonics. But it can also, shifting the accent, it can be to project something, like project a picture on a wall. So you have two considerably different meanings there. Projected is just simply the past tense of project, to project. And then we put OR, which is, of course, an agent. And so the projector, you could even call a person as projecting something. He's the projector. But usually we think of it in terms of a video projector. It's going to show a picture on a screen. And the person that does that is a projectionist, okay? The person that shows the film on the screen. projectile is pro means forward, so projectile is anything that is thrown. So you can throw a ball, that ball is a projectile. Or you could send a rocket up, and that is a projectile. Then we have conjecture, and con, of course, means with, and so to throw with, but the conjecture is more or less you're guessing what's going to happen. You're not sure, but you got an idea. And then conjectural, of course, they are related. Next we have dejection. And up here, we could have put those together. Up here we have dejected, and then here we have dejection, which is simply the noun for it. He experienced dejection because nobody wanted to play ball with him, okay? Inject, of course, in means in, and ject means throw, so this means to throw in. And so when you inject something, when people are talking, you come up and say, oh, I got an idea. You inject your idea. Okay. The noun form here of interject is interjection, and it is an abrupt remark made especially as an aside or an interruption. In grammar, we talk about interjection as a part of speech, and an exclamation, like when we show excitement and we use a exclamation mark, as you might remember. Next we have injector, and here we have OR and an agent. And injectors usually, I would use it with a motor, and so you inject the fuel in, and they're called injectors. But anyway, next we have adjective. Now this is a very interesting word. Adjective here. We have add, which has the idea of towards, and then throw. So it's a word or phrase naming an attribute added to or grammatically related to the noun it modifies or describes. So we can talk about a car, the adjective red, a red car, a fast car, pretty car. And so you have adjectives which modify a noun. Then you have subject, and that can be like in a sentence, John ate an apple. John would be the subject. Also, if somebody's painting a picture or portrait of somebody, and that would be their subject. You write about a particular topic or subject. Then we have trajectory, and that's like a rocket ship. The trajectory is the flight path that the rocket takes, whatever that is. And so you're going to follow its trajectory, hopefully going up rather than down. Either one of them is a trajectory. And then you have abject. This word ab here, the ab means away from, so literally it means to throw away from in the sense of rejecting, but it has, it's an adjective, and it usually means something bad, an experience, or to experience, something bad, experienced or present to a maximum degree. He felt abject misery. They experienced abject poverty. That would be the worst kind of poverty possible. Okay, now we're going to look at the next. Now we're going to go to our next one, which is vert. And we have two different forms, and it means to turn. So the first one is convert, and con means with, so that means to turn together. So when you convert somebody, they come to an agreement, they come together. And this idea of change, so that you have IBLE means able, so convertible means able to be converted. So you think of a car that can be, the top can go down, and so or the top can go up, so it's a convertible. Introvert, these next two go together. Introvert is to look in, and introvert is somebody. C.G. Jung came up with these two classifications here. Some people just seem to be quiet, shy, very reserved. They're very introvert, so they turn in. There's other people that just have a bubbly personality and are just happy all the time, and they like to express themselves, be in public, and they are what we call extro, which is the idea of out, extrovert. Divert is when you distract somebody, their attention, you divert them. They're trying to listen to a reading lesson, and people's talking to each other, and it diverts their attention. Then avert is like to avoid an activity. Invert means to turn upside down. So when you invert something, you turn it upside down. I could have put inversion there, but we didn't. Then we have inverted, which is the verb form, past tense. Revert means to go back. That means to turn back. So when you revert, you take it back to what it was before. Advertise, well, we all know what advertise is. You watch advertisements on TV all the time, and so the latest style, the latest car, or whatever coming out, they're going to advertise. They're going to try and turn you to it, and that makes an advertisement. Verse, the next one we have verse is conversion, and again that comes from the idea of convert. And so when you convert somebody, they're said to go through a conversion. It can be used in a religious sense. Also be somebody that thinks Chevrolet is the best car in the world, and they get a bad Chevrolet and they start buying Fords, so now they're converted to Fords. Versus here is a preposition often used in sports or in legal use, like Purdue versus Indiana University. Let's say they're going to play a football game. It also has the idea as opposed to, and weighing the pros and cons of organic versus inorganic produce. Then we have a diversion. Oh, you see this all the time, like in football or basketball. You fake somebody out and then try and make a goal or a touchdown. Aversion means you don't like something. If you have an aversion to something, that means that you do not like it. When I was a kid, I had aversion to peas. I didn't like peas, but I learned to eat them, and I like them now. Subversion, sub means under, and inverse means to turn. Of course, it's a noun with a shun on the end. So subversion is when you subvert something or subvert somebody. You undermine what they're trying to do, subversion. And then subversive is when you somebody is back to subversive. There is an adjective, or can be used as an adjective, seeking or intending to subvert an established system or institution, such as subversive politics. It can also be used as a noun, as a person who is tries to subvert. Next we have inversion, and that actually relates to invert up there. So when you inversion is a noun form of invert. Reversion means to return to a previous state of things. They tore down the buildings and the land reverted back. There was a reversion to a forest that was there before. Controversial, oh my goodness. Contro means against, right? So controversials when something is people can't agree on it. It's controversial. They're not sure. Versatile, sometimes pronounced versatile. Versatile is something that can be used for different things. It's able to be used different ways. It's very versatile. A versatile teacher is someone who can teach several different subjects. Like maybe in the morning, a friend of mine used to teach German and Spanish, quite a combination. And so he would have some Spanish classes, and then he would have some German classes. And so he could go between either language. He was a very versatile person. And finally is version. And sometimes three people tell a story, so you get three different versions of the same story. And of course, anybody that knows the history of the translation of the Hebrew or Christian Bible or other Bibles from other faiths know that as language changed, they come out with different versions. All right, this is our last Romance Roots. I think this is the hardest lesson. I notice we've gone 16 minutes. It's a little bit long, but I did my best to keep it as short as I could. And so best of luck for these. Be watching for these. And I trust this is going to be a big push forward, a big step forward in your ability to read these more advanced and difficult words.